and core Richard Hart products that anyone within 2 years, 2 to 4 years, 2 years seed money, can be, a millionaire in 4 years.
Yeah, and just now imagine harvesting yield in the crypto's largest yield farm and then compounding that yield and buying more Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex and just compounding that yield that you're getting. Hex, you got to wait, but, Pulsex, you got real-time yield. If you're a liquidity provider, you can get yield. You can get yield a few different ways, obviously. Just imagine continuing, take your own money, take that yield and compound it and just keep going in and keep going in. I'm telling you, 2025 is the time frame that you're looking at, where if you want to retire, that when you can keep working, keep putting in until then, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah, just give me an idea. I mean, I retired back in February, thanks to Hex and Richard Hart. But, I say thanks to them, but it was my financial decision, my decisions to make the investment in the product, that type of thing. But, I got bored. I was like, all right, I reached the financial goal of I want to be a millionaire, made me a multimillionaire, that type of thing. And that's not bragging. I'm stating facts. But literally, I did not have the retirement game frame or game plan framed out. And so after 2.5 months, I'm like, what am I doing? And so literally I created this project, went back into the community to just do this thing. And I'm going to do it for 2 years. I'm going to stick with it. But it's one of those things when people are investing, and I told somebody this today, actually, about 2 months ago, I'm like, write out what your game plan is when you want to financially retire, in 4 years. And he's like, what? And I'm like, no, you have to do this because I didn't have it. I missed that. I screwed it up. So I actually went back to work to do this whole project. So I'm going to do it for 2 years. So I actually went back to a job, do this for 2 years, and I'm dollar cost averaging 10% of my income off the job I'm working to show people that this works, to show them this is actually how you can financially retire from the system within 2 to 4 years. 2 years base cost, and then let it grow for another 2 years. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, that's great, man. One of the things I'm looking at now is right on literally side by side, same kind of a parallel path on that, is realizing that so many people don't have their estate house in order, don't realize that the wealthy don't pay taxes, they do it legally, they plan properly, they have certain structures set up, they do certain things, and we all need to do that. No one's doing it. No one understands. Most people, I don't say no one, but so many people don't understand that it's not that difficult. It's really more of a knowledge-based thing, understanding it's a way of life, understanding the knowledge that you have to be able to operate in this fashion instead of that fashion, not be a citizen of the corporation. You know what I'm talking about? We're all if you're a citizen of the corporation, you're beholden to their bullshit. You're going to be beholden to the 87,000 new IRS agents. You're going to be beholden to so many things that you just don't need to be beholden to. And there's legal and justified planning opportunities that I think so many people are under this impression that it takes you got to be a multimillionaire to be able to do this. And you really don't. You really, truly don't. You can get into this situation and plan properly and put yourself in look, Rockefeller said it himself, control everything, own nothing. And while decentralization happens and decentralization is important and it's a part of this whole thing, we still have to repatriate the money into the real world to use it. And that creates tax events. That creates that situation where now you're a citizen of the United States corporation, right? So it's how to manage that scenario properly. So I've been looking at setting up a plan that will just help people get into that and be on that path. And I'm actually working with someone now to figure that out. But that's something that I think is going to be really, really important, because when, you do create you are now one of the richest men in Babylon or women in Babylon, and you have put 10% or 20% or your whole check in, or you've done this and done that, and 2025 comes and Pulsechain is at $2, $3 or what, and Hex is at $5 and the world's different. You want to be not beholden to the corporation that we all are as citizens. And that's going to be critical. And have the proper trust set up and the proper estate planning set up and the proper places and the proper things. And when you buy a car or you buy a home, or, you've got your estate to your kids and you've got your insurance policies and they're all at the right place, doing the right thing. That's going to be critical.
Oh, yeah, because there's so many ways ways that the money drain can come. Whether you want to get involved or not, like you got to find where your money is treated best, that type of thing. My chosen point view is like, because we're in a bear market and because I know like we're not going to pop for 2 to 3 years, is like I'm done with the distribution phase. So now I'm in the accumulation phase and I'm doing it for my project. So I'm just like, and I've got all the stuff, all the toys, all the fun stuff I need, so like there's nothing I need, like, so where do I go from here? And my biggest thing is like, what's my give back? How do I give back to the community? But, I'll be the first person to say, I'm not the sharpest tack in the pack and I don't understand all this tax stuff. So like, go find yourself a good tax advisor.
And it's not that complicated. It's actually just about gaining the information. It's just knowing what you don't know. And then once it's put in front of you, spend some time, especially when you now all of a sudden find yourself having a lot of money. One of the most important things you can do. And what you'll realize soon, and I'm going to wind up putting this out there, but is that as just an average person, you can all walk into a bank and get a bank account and actually not even have to register at a state just yet, like as with the jurisdiction. So with a specific kind of trust. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do to operate properly, to manage our estate. You don't need to be some, lawyer or CPA. It really just comes down to having the information and right in front of you and knowing it and seeing that this is real. That's it.
As much as I joked over the 5 years of like, I want to be a millionaire, that type of thing, now it's ridiculous. It's going to get what I love to say this, redonkulous. When Pulsechain and Pulsex launches, it's just going to get stupid. I'm like, somebody asked me, they're like, what do you think like when you become a billionaire? And I'm just like, bro, I don't think about it. I'm like, I don't even know what to think. I'm just like, I'm just here having fun.
Yeah. Think of, don't put a target on your back, man. Think of that.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. But, it's just, it's all fun and games until you get buried in the ground. That's what I tell people. I'm like, make what you can out of life right now because you never know. Like, do the best positive course of action you can where you're at today because there's no guaranteed tomorrow, that type of thing. And that's not a negative thing. It's just like every day I wake up happy, I'm positive, I'm excited. I'm like, I get to do this one more day. And that won't happen one day. So, sorry to be a Debbie Downer, but I mean, all the positive things you can do from life where you're at right now, I don't care what your age is, like just go out and do it and create positive change. It's amazing. I encourage people, like, I don't care where you're at, like, take what you have, do what you can. That's my big positive message.
Yeah, part of the plan has to be to proactively focus on what you want and manifest that. And if you want to be a millionaire, say, okay, I want to be a millionaire. And every day when you wake up, you look in the mirror and say, this is what I'm going to do today to be a millionaire. Write those goals down, do what you got to do, figure it out. But be active in that progression. Be active in that process. To actively say, I need to make $5 million. How am I going to do it? And to talk about it.
Yeah, I did that, right? And that was my thing. And that was my core thesis is like, I'm going to be a millionaire. So like for 5 years, I drove at this topic with cryptocurrencies long before Hex and stuff. I was like, I'm going to be a millionaire in 5 years. And then, and then all of a sudden, boom, it happens, right? And then it's like, what's the next goal, right? What's the next goal? So this is my next goal. I'm going to be a billionaire 4 years. So, with all the setup investments, with all the core, Richard Hart products that are in place, sacrafice, that type of thing. Like down to earth, anybody who's listening, I don't care if you have $10 or $100 invested in like Hex type thing, what it make difference in your life is your investment in Hex will like pay off big time. In my personal opinion, not financial advice.
Yeah, we're pre-pulse chain.
Yeah, and you get a double on pulse
My
chain.
goodness.
I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, it honestly is. It's like you're going to get a double of your coins. You're going to find price parity. I mean, the whole bit. He designed the system like perfectly.